So last month, I made a video where I had an honest conversation with you guys about college, my career plans, and growth. And basically the point of that video was to share some of the lessons that I learned from the month of October. That was a time where I heard back from internships. I also started posting on YouTube again. And I remember that was also when I first started, I guess, like spending less time with my friends. And I started working more on like personal projects and just really reflecting on like, how do I want to spend my time? So I shared some of the lessons I learned from that month with you guys, and I got a lot of positive feedback from that video. So thank you. And basically in this video, I'm going to do kind of the same thing where I share some of the lessons that I learned from November. And so basically the theme of this video is going to be on perception and how really cultivating the ability to control your perception is really at the root of happiness and success. And we hear a lot about that in like self-improvement books. If you've ever read like a self-improvement book, a lot of it focuses on like controlling your mind. And even there's a book called like Think and Grow Rich, where basically the book talks about like how you can think yourself to riches. And so a lot of those books I have enjoyed, but I've also found them to be kind of corny. But really in the past month, I've personally seen how actually controlling your perception can really lead to successful results, and it can also prevent you from getting those results. And so I'm going to talk about that lesson in this video. I'm going to break this video up into two parts. So first I'm going to talk about how I learned that lesson. So how did I learn about the importance of perception? And then in the second part of the video, I'm going to talk about how I'm currently changing my perception and how you guys can change your perceptions. Okay, so how did I learn about the importance of perception? So I talked about in a previous video about Damon John, how he talked about that there are two things that you can control in your life. So there's number one, perceptions, and number two, your actions. And so this idea of like controlling my perceptions has really been on my mind for the past month, but I really realized the importance of it while having a conversation with a friend. So basically the other day I was having a conversation with my friend and we were talking about our Thanksgiving breaks. And basically the conversation got to like being self-critical of ourselves, because I think we both kind of go through that problem. And basically he told me that he felt that he was lazy because he has, this habit of procrastinating, which I think that's like a common habit that people go through. Like a lot of people struggle with procrastination. And so he was telling me that because he procrastinates, he feels that he's lazy. And my response to that was basically, well, no, that's just a flawed perception. Really, it's not that you're lazy, but your current systems aren't effective enough for overcoming procrastination. And so if you actually change your systems and do like a deep dive on how to overcome procrastination, then you'll realize that you can actually overcome procrastination. And it's not that you're lazy, but more so that your current systems aren't effective for overcoming procrastination. And so basically from that conversation, I realized like this friend that, I have like a high level of respect for, he thinks that he's lazy. And, that was just such a flawed perception, right? And it made me think about like, what are some of the flawed perceptions that I have myself and of the world? And so I did like kind of some reflecting, and I realized that for one of the most important goals I have in my life, I actually have a flawed perception for that. I've never really talked about this on this channel before. I'm sure I've hinted at it, but if I were to do anything in my life, like after college, the one thing that I would want to do is be a YouTuber, like full time, and basically have a business around this YouTube channel. And, I would expand to podcasts. I eventually want to write a book. Like these are kind of some short-term and long-term goals I have. And like, honestly, these are goals that I've had for a long time, but I've struggled to embrace them because, as a college student, at 21 years old, it almost feels ridiculous to say like, yeah, I want to be a YouTuber, especially as, someone that is at Howard, honors business student. I could honestly like go the traditional path and, make a pretty good living doing that. But it's just like not what excites me. And what I've realized is that actually a lot of my inaction on YouTube has been because I haven't really embraced this idea of I want to be a YouTuber. And yeah, I know like even when I have like conversations with people about like career paths, most of the time I don't even tell them that I, want to do YouTube after college. And even when I do, I say it in, not really a confident way. Like I'll say like, yeah, like I'm considering like maybe doing YouTube, on the side while like doing a job or whatever. Like I don't really embrace it. And yeah, I've just realized from those conversations with people, I haven't really embraced the idea of like going for this thing, which is YouTube. And I think like kind of seeing the relationship between kind of those self-limiting beliefs and kind of that lack of action, which, like, let's be honest, like I haven't really posted as much as I've wanted to. It's really like made me realize that there is a relationship between kind of my perceptions and my actions. And actually, if I focus on having positive perceptions, it can lead to more positive actions. And so I think like what I've learned from this past month is that it's so important for me to really recognize how I perceive certain things and understand like where do my perceptions come from, where do my beliefs come from, and if I see some of these negative beliefs, where are they coming from, and how can I cut those out, and how can I develop more positive perceptions, right? And so yeah, that's kind of like how I have really learned about the importance of perception this month. Okay, so how do you change your perception? So the first thing that I do is I identify my current beliefs, right? So if I were you, I would write down a couple questions, some of the topics that you think about the most. And basically the point is to really identify like, what do you currently believe in? What are some of the things that drive you, right? So I know a common question that a lot of people ask is, how do I find my passion? Or how do I make money? So let's just say you write down those things. After that, you would then rephrase the question. So you would identify kind of the opposite way of looking at that, right? So for example, for how do I find my passion? Well, the opposite for that would be, well, what do I currently enjoy? Or for example, for how do I make money? The opposite of that would be, well, how do I currently best serve people? So really the point of this activity is to really identify your current beliefs, the current ways of thinking. And then the second part is to identify some of the different ways of thinking. What are some of the alternatives that you aren't considering? So really you're capturing the way that you think, but then you're also capturing kind of some of your blind spots and how you could be thinking. And then the second way that I would change my perception is I would change my input. So what's influencing me, right? What influences people? Well, people, right? So your family, your friends, but also some of the things that you consume. So TV shows, YouTube content, books. So for here, again, it's focusing on what are the inputs that you have and how can you actually change those inputs? And so it's really about like being deliberate about, okay, what am I actually consuming, and connecting those current beliefs to where are those current beliefs coming from? So you may be wondering, well, okay, Kenya, how are you changing your inputs? And really the main thing is being more intentional. So I know for me, like one of the things that I consume the most is YouTube. And I've realized that I've had a maximalist approach with YouTube. So I kind of just like consume what interests me. And I've realized that that has led to me actually like consuming too much. So I've realized that, if a YouTube video or a YouTuber doesn't provide either information or inspiration, then there's no point in really watching. And I'm not saying that like this standard is the best way, but it's just like how I'm currently changing. Because I know for me, like I need information and I need inspiration. I don't really need entertainment right now from YouTube. And I think like for other sources, like they have specific purposes. For example, like Netflix, it's just entertainment for me. So, if I need like a break, then I don't mind going to Netflix or Hulu and watching a show. But really just like having a purpose for each thing that I consume, like that's really how I am currently changing my approach. Because I think the thing about YouTube specifically is that YouTube serves so many people. Like you can get entertainment, but you can also get inspiration and information. So I've realized like you have to have a specific purpose for inputs. At least that's what has worked for me so far. So yeah, that's currently like my plan for how I'm changing inputs. And yeah, I'm not saying that this way is the best way, but I do think like in general in society, we are consuming too much. So I've realized that I have to put myself on kind of an information diet for the content that I consume. And then for my friends, just having like a smaller friend circle. So, even like if my friends, and this sounds pretty pragmatic, but if friends aren't serving a specific purpose and they are, I guess, removing energy from my life, then I've realized that, you kind of have to cut off those friends, or at least like spend less time with those friends. So yeah, that's how I'm currently changing my inputs. But yeah, overall, like I've really learned the importance of perception over this past month. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing like how things go and just like some of the lessons that I learned over the coming months. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and like took some value from it and really learned about the importance of perception. So definitely let me know what you guys thought. I really love hearing, your guys' feedback. And yeah, if you haven't watched the last monthly lesson video, definitely go check that out. Yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.